This video examines the Chitimacha Nation Court of Appeals case, Beaufort versus Cypress Bayou Casino Hotel. We will analyze the appellate division proceedings of Case No. 2024, CAO 147. Our program provides a deep dive into key legal areas, including discrimination law, whistleblower protections, and tribal rights, specifically sovereign immunity and tribal court jurisdiction in labor law. The case involves Jeanne Beaufort, who was fired as PR director after refusing promotional interviews. She alleges she was fired for refusing to cover up illegal payments linked to a crime syndicate. The casino claims insubordination. The appellant, Jeanne Beaufort, was terminated after discovering illegal payments connected to the murder of her husband. The appellee, Cypress Bayou Casino Hotel, alleges termination was for insubordination. Jeanne Beaufort had an exemplary 6-year employment background with the casino. Her personnel file contained no prior disciplinary warnings or reprimands before the dispute. A critical part of this case is Jeanne Beaufort's personal context. She is the widow of a tribal police officer murdered in the line of duty while investigating the Gulf Coast Crime Syndicate, an entity allegedly tied to the casino's payments. The triggering event was Beaufort's refusal to conduct promotional interviews. This refusal was based on both legal concerns about concealing criminal activity and moral objections to supporting the entity that murdered her husband. Following her refusal, Jeanne Beaufort was rapidly dismissed just 3 days later. The official cause was, quote, insubordination and failure to perform duties, but the swiftness suggests a retaliatory motive for her whistleblowing stance. The tribal court ruled for the casino, finding no prima facie case of discrimination. They concluded Beaufort's refusal to perform tasks was legitimate, non-discriminatory grounds for dismissal due to insubordination. The issues on appeal center on 2 points: a legal error regarding the standard of proof for discrimination, and a statutory violation concerning criminal activity discrimination. The first point of error is the standard of proof. The tribal court incorrectly required Beaufort to prove discriminatory animus as the, quote, primary motivating factor, bypassing the McDonnell-Douglas framework that only requires an inference of discrimination. Supporting this argument, the McDonnell-Douglas framework establishes a de minimis burden of production. By demanding, quote, proof of animus up front, the tribal court created an insurmountable barrier for the plaintiff. Our second supporting argument centers on temporal proximity. Beaufort was fired only 3 days after her protected refusal, creating a powerful inference of causation that satisfies the prima facie requirement and shifts the burden of production. The second point of error addresses criminal refusal protection. The tribal court failed to recognize that refusing to participate in criminal activity is a protected act. Terminating an employee for non-compliance with illegal directives constitutes retaliatory discrimination. Our third supporting argument is based on conscience-based protection. Tribal law protects against termination for declining to violate tribal law or public policy. This safeguard prevents employers from compelling complicity in organized crime. The Richardson precedent confirms the limits of employer authority. Job duties intended to advance a criminal enterprise are not legitimate directives. By compelling Beaufort to promote the casino while concealing illegal financial ties, the employer demanded participation in criminal activity. The respondent's case theory relies on insubordination and management discretion. They argue that the termination was a legitimate, non-discriminatory action based on security protocol breaches and performance deficiencies, following clear acts of insubordination. The appellant's case theory is based on a protected legal refusal. Beaufort contends that refusing to participate in criminal activity is an absolute protected act. Employment cannot be conditioned on complicity in illegal acts. The case involves several critical stakes. Employee safety is at risk due to potential retaliation for refusing criminal orders. Tribal sovereignty is challenged by organized crime infiltrating autonomous lands. Also at stake is enterprise integrity. This refers to the preservation of legitimate business operations against illicit financial infiltration and criminal schemes. The core legal conflict is defining the boundary between sovereign business operations and tribal protections against coerced criminal complicity. The court must balance managerial discretion with the employee's fundamental right to refuse illicit activities.